and I'll have a vanilla, one of the vanilla bullshit things. Whatever you want. Some vanilla bullshit, latte, kappa thing, whatever you got.
Fuck you, Larry! Bullshit, motherfucker! You are such a bald asshole!
I'm not sure.
What is that? Oh, that's mine! Hey!
This is the one you're
That's
talking about?
it, yeah!
Mondo.
Mondo Freaks.
Mondo Freaks.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Curb Your Enthusiasm Season 12 review and recap show and all the nonsense that goes on this program. I'm Rob Fishbeck, and here with me, as always, my co-host for this program, ladies and gentlemen, Justin the Juice. How you doing, bud?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, excited to be back. Oh,
Pretty good.
yeah, it's a fun one.
This was a good episode. I liked this one.
Yeah.
There was a few parts that I was like, all right, I saw that one coming, but again, maybe I'm just kind of like too smart for my own good with some of these things at this stage.
Yeah,
of the game.
for sure.
That being said, so this show, if you're listening to the show on the replay, none of this matters to you. We try to do the show Sunday night when the show airs, but we said it from day one that life happens. We got stuff that goes on. So probably half of these shows will end up being on Monday nights. So just, know it'll be out at some point at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
All that being said, let's just kind of get right into it for this episode. I got a few things written down. So obviously Larry and crew are back from Atlanta. All this. So again, what I like is that we do have the through line for the season, because this whole thing that happened in Atlanta seems to be carrying over, at least at the beginning of this episode, not so much throughout the rest of it. I'm sure they'll touch upon it, throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But I really liked the break from Atlanta because it's not, you said it. Nobody watches the show for the plot, necessarily. But I felt like those first two episodes being tied together, this was kind of falling into what happens on most shows where you have to watch them in sequential order to understand what's going on and all those things. And one of the great things about Curb's always been, you can just watch it from week to week and not necessarily remember everything, and it doesn't really matter.
Right. Yeah.
So where would you like to start off with this episode, I guess?
I never got into Wordle. Did you get into Wordle?
Well, it's one of the first things I wrote down.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about Wordle now. I remember when it came out, I did it every day for like 2-3 months. Friends of mine, their parents would post their scores on Facebook. It was pretty popular there. It's 2021, I think, is when it hit.
I think that's right.
And, like me and some of my sisters, some of my friends and stuff, we would do Wordle every day and then kind of like keep in touch with each other of like, oh, it took me 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you had were around when all this stuff happened, but so Wordle hit and then they came up with all these other versions of it. They did one for they would give a year and do box office films. They had their niche kind of for every, part of society that was out there. So for me, there was that box office one, and then there was a music one where you would hear literally 1 second of the song, and you would have to see I got the song within 4 seconds, or I got the song within 6 seconds, or whatever. Those were things. But I gotta be honest with you, kind of fell off the Wordle pretty quickly. That summer it was pretty popular, and then that was kind of it. But apparently people still do it.
Wow.
What's your story? The Wordle thing?
No, I never got into it. I saw just random people post on Facebook, right? Or Twitter. Yeah. Got it in 3 or whatever. I never understood it. I don't think I ever even tried. I just kind of, it didn't. Yeah. only being able to do something because it's only like once a day and then it was done. Like once you did it that one time a day, like I like to be able to do something for a specific amount of time, regardless, and then when I'm done, move on. But like, yeah, I can't see myself getting into.
The Wordle.
Yeah, I would get too like. I would want to keep playing, play another or whatever. Like, wouldn't be satisfied with.
Do you remember when Sudoku puzzles became really popular?
A little bit.
Didn't play those either.
A little bit, yeah. Just but not.
I tried. I'm not. I just don't care enough. It's not that I'm not smart enough. It's not that I'm, whatever. It's like there's so many other things that are going to grab my attention. Those are not those things for me.
I was big into Wordscape on Facebook.
Okay. I don't know what that is. What is Wordscape?
It was like online Scrabble against Facebook friends. So you would move your piece and then you'd have to wait for your friend or whatever to move their piece. So sometimes you'd be playing it at the same time. Sometimes you'd play. It'd take 3 weeks to play one game because you're each doing it like every couple hours.
Oh, wow.
And then there was Trivia Crack too. Did you ever get into Trivia Crack?
No. What's Trivia Crack?
Oh, man.
Is it like movie trivia?
Well, it was different categories. So it was like science, art, entertainment, sports, a couple others. But yeah, you would, again, another like go against friends. You could play against random people too, though.
Oh,
but,
sure.
Yeah, you just start it. And then basically, I think like if you get a question right, you kind of keep going. And then if you get one wrong, your turn's done. It goes to the other person. You got to wait for them. But those types of games, those were fun. Those I got into, but
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the trivia thing, my people that have watched this channel for a long time, if you haven't watched this channel for a long time, I'll share the story anyways. Seen It came out when I was like 14. And I remember seeing the commercials for it. For those of you that aren't aware of Seen It was a movie trivia game. And so I got it for like my birthday or something. And my entire family played against me. It was me versus my entire family. And, I would win by pretty large margins. And then like, it just got to a point where like people didn't want to play with me anymore. And then like they came out with like more packs for it. And then I got the Saturday Night Live Seen It. And then like, I vaguely remember in high school, like being at different friends' houses and like there'd be groups of people together and people would want to like bust out Seen It or like, oh, there's a new pack for Seen It. Let's play. And they would all realize fairly quickly, oh, I want to be on Rob's team. This is the only Rob never got picked. I was always I'm not exactly. I was always last to get picked for teams in like PE class.
Yeah.
But for Seen It, it was like, oh, please, Rob, please be on our team. And I'd be like, Fight Club. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And they'd be like, we've never seen that.
Never.
And then that just kind of pittered out. But that's life. Did you ever play like movie trivia games growing up?
Yeah, like anytime once I like really got into it, basically like right. Nobody wanted to play with me basically. Like I'd try to get friends into it. And there was a good point where like I got a trivia game and I think I was 2 or 3 friends and we played they would go against me.
Okay.
As a team. And that was usually kind of close because they were a little bit more casual than an average fan, but not quite as ingrained as I was. But
right.
But that worked. But yeah, like anytime you play like heads up or catchphrase or something, and it's like either like them trying to tell you they have no idea how to explain One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then I get it, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, came out in 1975, Jack Nicholson." They're like, "I don't even Star Wars."
You stole the words out of my mouth. If any of my friends are watching this that are outside of the film bubble friends, My apologies, but I gotta be honest with you. Over the years, there's been hey, let's play Heads Up. I've always just hated that game because like they would have like Brad Pitt over their head, and I would be like, Thelma and Louise, Moneyball, and they would just be like, because it's like I don't want to go with like the most,
Right.
you know what I mean, like hollering out like 7 Fight Club. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right.
It just I've never liked playing those games because I feel like the people that I play them with. This will sound arrogant, but I don't care. The people that I just, unless you're playing with the right people, like when we played it at Disneyland, that was a blast.
Yeah.
We should probably tell the people this story real quick. We've talked about it. So we all went to Disneyland. This was in December of 2021. And there was, what was there? It was me, Helen, you, Mike Bethany, and Danny, right? Was that our group?
Oh,
for
that was
Spider-Man? For the Spider-Man ride specifically.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It was me and my sister and some of our friends from What the Show and from Call Action. We stood in line for the Spider-Man ride for like a solid hour. And the ride was 2.5 stars out of 5. It was not. But what was great was we played movie trivia Heads Up in line, and we're kind of gathering attention from all the other people standing in line because they were like, hey, these guys are really good and we're entertaining. So that was a lot of fun. But again, it was a good group to play movie trivia with. Yeah. Because we're all big movie people. So
yeah, when you play a game like that with the right people, it is a blast. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I think earlier in the day we played Star Wars trivia at the Star Wars ride.
I think we did,
which I know they were doing good. The problem is like outside of the original trilogy, I'm just such a like I watch them all. I watch all the movies.
Yeah.
I just don't. What color was the paint on? And it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, give me a director or something. Okay, so the ball scene with Leon, the first of multiple ball scenes in the episode. The episode, by the way, the name of the episode was Vertical Drop, Horizontal Tug, and it could have just been called Balls. 4 balls. I would have called it 4 FORE balls. That being said,
between golf balls and real,
so it was like straight up Sharon Stone and Basic Instinct, just like it's out. You can for all the world to see.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what else needs to be said.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so obviously, his neighbor, Dwayne.
Yeah.
His father-in-law died. He was under the impression it was his father. So this is a good conversation just in general because I feel everybody can relate to this. So he pops over there to give his condolences, which you should do.
Yeah. And
he's kind of just then put off by the fact that he was under the impression it was Dwayne's father, and when he found out it was his father-in-law, we know Larry well enough to know that he's kind of then thinking like, well, then why did I come over here?
Yeah. Because the daughter, was not present. So like, yeah. How do I give my condolences to someone? He didn't actually lose his father.
So it's almost like false advertising, that he's under the impression that it's okay. It's his father, but it's not his father. It's his father-in-law. Now I would gather like us, I can't speak for you, but for me, like if, condolences are condolences. Doesn't matter if it's your father, your father-in-law, whoever. If they're congregating next door, you want to pop by, say hello. It's a respectful thing to do. I think most people would agree with that. Where I have a gripe is that he goes over there and, I'm glad I picked up on it. He goes over there to give his condolences, but then Dwayne brings up the lemon tree then.
Yeah.
Why is he bringing up the lemon tree at his father-in-law's funeral?
Yeah.
I've known people that have that tree problem where half the tree like hangs over the house and blah, 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 blah. And there's usually most of the time, if you have a decent relationship with your neighbors, you just kind of let them know, like, hey, I'm going to trim. Like here at this house, the neighbors have a tree and some of the branches hang in our yard. And they don't care that every spring I hop up on the ladder and trim about a foot. I want the tree to look right, but I don't want them hitting like the gutters or the house. So I just trim them like a foot every year, and it keeps the shape and everything. And it's all good. I feel most people I know that have been in that situation have a decent relationship with their neighbors where those types of things happen. Let me ask you this. Splitting the cost if the tree's in the other person's yard to have it removed seems a little suspicious to me. What are your thoughts? Like, would you split the costs, or would you say, what would you do if you were Dwayne or Larry, I guess, in that situation?
That's tough. I don't have enough like home owning experience to even, for my mind to even really.
They say a lot of millennials will never own their own home.
Yeah.
So
We'll
this
see.
Might be a boomer culture thing
Yeah.
that just never happens for the rest of us.
Yeah.
I mean, here's my stance with the whole thing. It's his tree. The tree's in his yard. So Larry gets a couple free lemons once in a while.
Yeah,
He should pay for it.
right.
I could understand if there was like hey, do you want to go in on this with me a little bit and maybe pay for like 20% of it or something? Again, this goes back to the last episode with the deposit for the statue. Okay. I don't know about Dwayne. This is our first time meeting Dwayne, but if he's living next door to Larry David, unless he's a total fool who spent all his money on this house and doesn't have a pot to piss in otherwise, I'm assuming he's got money. $2,700 total to have this tree removed is nothing for these folks.
Right.
Living in this neighborhood, backed up to a really nice golf course. At least Jeff's is.
Yeah.
So to me, sometimes, and again, this is 2 episodes in a row now, where it's like, it's relatable for us, but it's not relatable for them. And it kind of throws me off because it's like, why are you guys quabbling about $2,700?
Yeah.
You have the money,
Yeah, I think for Larry, it's probably the principled, the principal coming from whatever is, coming from New York or whatever, and still going to be a stickler for money regardless.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dwayne, but I don't know. For me, for Dwayne to even bring it up, just kind of seems that doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyways, so that's a whole thing. I love how they're to stay on the Dwayne topic, to like go forward in the episode when he goes back, when they have another conversation.
Yeah.
And he tells him that he's very un-Tubman-like because he has this lineage that goes back to Harriet Tubman. And Larry makes this proclamation that Harriet Tubman would not have done this to him because she didn't charge anybody to bring. It's so hard to say this with a straight face. It's so hard. Harriet Tubman, pro bono, Rick pro bono, bringing slaves up to the north where we live to escape slavery. Might be my favorite part of the whole episode.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Tells him he's being very un-Tubman.
Yeah.
And I just imagine that scene in The Big Lebowski when Walter says to him, he's like, "You're being very undude-like right now." And it's like, yeah, right. But Harriet Tubman, again, very different context.
Yeah.
And then also in that scene, we'll go back to the golf stuff here in a second, but kind of sticking with Dwayne to kind of flesh out this whole storyline. Obviously, Leon is then sitting there and
Yeah.
his balls are
Yeah.
hanging out and freaks him out, and he gets out of having to spend the $1,400 or whatever.
Yeah.
Splitting it 50-50. I also noticed in this scene, and nobody comments on it, but Leon's has this big gulp from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And it has his name on it in Sharpie.
Oh.
It says Leon on the cup. And it was one of those, like, you blink and you miss it.
I
But
didn't get that.
it raised a lot of, it's like, okay, I know they do that at places like Starbucks and those sorts of things, but like, you don't ever see Larry drinking a big gulp. So if there's a big gulp sitting around the house, it's probably not Larry's. I don't know how much company they have on a daily basis. And I don't know, if you walked into 7-Eleven to get a big gulp, like, they're not writing your name
Right.
with a Sharpie on the cup. So it's just one of those, it's like one of those characteristics of his personality. And it's
Right.
just like,
That he would still write Leon on it, despite the fact Larry would never be drinking a big gulp.
right.
He's still like, oh, this is by
Larry doesn't look like
Nobody
somebody
touches
drinking
my
raw
big
pop.
yeah, right.
All right. So we're at the golf course
Mhm.
that he's been golfing at for the last 12 seasons. Constantly getting in trouble. Constantly getting in trouble.
Oh man.
And Tony Kotsor, those of you would know him from the movie Coda. It's pretty well known at this point, the last few years for sure. And everybody knows that he's deaf. So to kind of backtrack, we first get to the golf course and Larry's there and he's sitting on this bench and Tony is getting a golf lesson. And the golf instructor says, this is not a lingering bench. And Larry's like, I'm just sitting here. Listen, I've never been in this specific situation, but if you're just sitting waiting for your buddies, he's obviously waiting for Richard and Jeff to show up, sitting on the bench. How does this constitute a free golf lesson if he's just happens to be sitting there and he picked up he was listening? Are you not supposed to listen if you're?
Yeah, because I don't know a lot of. I could see just being around some of the kind of personal trainer type people, lesson givers, like on our resort, like they charge for everything. Like we have like a gym and I pay as an employee, I get like 50% off a month for the gym.
Mhm.
Which is already like pretty expensive. Like already that alone is more than like the YMCA or whatever.
Right.
But like they charge for everything. Like they have like tennis courts in the gym, but you have to pay to play. Even if you're just with your friends, like you just want to you got to book a reserve time, lessons, everything's expensive. So I think, I get, whether it's, or what's the joke's definitely kind of satirizing, I think, how these like resorts are just overcharging or just charging for like every little thing. And so kind of funny. With some of the people I know, I could see a few of them, a lot of the golf people I know are awesome. They'd be like, yeah, who cares about this guy listening in? But like, I feel like I could see a couple, one or two employees just being actually doing like what that guy did, which is crazy.
Kind of a dick move. I mean, it's like Larry's just sitting.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
So obviously that scene happens, and then him and Richard. By the way, it's great to see Richard Lewis back on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Just national treasure, in my opinion. And they're, out golfing. And he's telling. We'll get to the will thing in a second because I find that to be very interesting. But actually, let's just talk about it right now. So Richard tells Larry that he put him in his will, and Larry's like, "I don't want it. Nope, I don't want anything to do with that." Blah 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 blah. And like later in the episode, they even have a conversation because he's convinced that Richard put him in his will because he wants to be in Larry's will, and because he thinks Larry's going to die first. And it just goes back to, this is, again, I love Leon. JB Smoove was a phenomenal addition to the cast. Like, I think it was season 5 or season 6 that he came into the show. And the whole relationship of Larry and Leon is incredible. I love the comedy duo. I love, obviously, from day one, have loved his bromance and relationship with Jeff Garland, Jeff Green on the show. But there's something very special about Richard and Larry, because it feels deeper, and it feels like these two have been best buds for so long. Like, so long. And again, nothing against Jeff, but like, he is also his manager. So there is that, and then like Leon, he met Larry way later in life, where I just feel like him and Richard, like, they go back so far.
Yeah.
And it's just such a great bromance between the two of these guys throughout the whole series. Here they are talking about death.
Yeah.
How old do you think Larry David is?
Yeah, he's got to be. I mean, he's got to be like, what, 73, 74 now?
76.
76, yeah.
Yeah, because I looked at, so I don't know. I don't sit around thinking about Larry David's age.
Right.
But the other week I was like, I wonder how old he actually is. I looked him up and I was like, I'm not surprised at this at all. And I put a post in my Discord, and I won't say who, but somebody commented on it. And they were like, honestly, if you would have told me he was 85, I would have totally been like, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because like going back and watching like season 4 is what I'm on in my current, like I finished season 11, starting kind of from 4 because I've seen 1 through 3 at some point years ago, but going from 4. Yeah, like, I mean, honestly, he doesn't, other than like, I think the way his hair kind of was back then, maybe like a little more curly. And then other than like just the so much grainier back then.
Right.
But so like, otherwise, I mean, he pretty much looks the same as he did
25 years ago.
25 years ago.
100%. 100%. And not to compare him to Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise and Paul Rudd look like they did 25 years ago. But that's because they've had work done. Larry just has always looked old.
Yeah, right.
Looked like
right.
And I mean that in a nice, endearing way. So there was that whole thing, and I just, again, that's not a conversation that we're at the age of having quite yet, but I do find it interesting that they're talking about their wills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Larry gets up and he sees that Tony and those guys are ahead of him. He's going to wait. Richard's like, you're never even going to get close to these guys. But he knows the vertical drop, horizontal tug at this point. And he hits Tony right in the back with the golf ball like an asshole. Doesn't yell for because he knows Tony's deaf.
I forgot, like I recognized him, but I forgot he was the Coda guy. I just was like, oh, I know who that is. Who is that? And sometimes when you see an actor, you don't know if they're playing themselves or if they're playing a character,
Right. Especially on Curb.
Yeah. So like, I was like, oh, do I just recognize him? Is he just supposed to be a random guy? And then realized the deaf thing after he hit him. It was just so funny. Because I was like, why didn't he yell 4? And oh man. Yeah, that was good. Are you a golfer?
So here's the deal. I took golf lessons when I was in like 2nd grade. So I learned how to play. And then when I was in high school throughout my 20s, me and my friends used to go golfing all the time. Now, would I say we're good? No. And we always went to like the cheapest courts where it was like, if you split the cart with your partner, it was $15 per person to play golf. So we would go to like 9-hole shitholes. We call them 9-hole shitholes. But we always had a blast. Always just had a great time, you know. And then honestly, I've not played golf in like 7 or 8 years. I've tried to get I've tried getting, there was like 4 or 5 of us that would go a lot. Tried to get us together to go a few times. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Most of my friends are married now. Many of them have children. So, you know, Sundays at 1 o'clock in the afternoon's not like, hey, let's go play golf and shoot 9 holes for 2 hours. It's, hey, it's my one day off. I want to spend time with my children. That makes sense. Totally makes sense. So I either need to find some younger friends or find all their friends that also don't want children. So
Yeah.
there is that. Are you a golfer? Do you play golf at all?
A little bit. A couple summers ago, I probably played like 7 or 8 times. I played maybe once or twice last summer. I actually just went to one of the simulators, which are pretty fun, the other day with a friend. But yeah, definitely am around. Some of my friends are like scratch golfers, like really, really good. Or like caddies or stuff like that. So definitely pretty ingrained. I remember I always get nervous when people are around because my shot is so inconsistent, you know. So I actually hit the ball. The cart girl was coming like a ways away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I see she's coming. I'm like, should I wait? I'm like, she's pretty far away. She's pretty far off to the right. I'm aiming straight. She's way over there. Like, she's pretty far yet. Like, whatever. Like, there's no way I'm going to hit her.
Right.
So hit the ball and it shoots straight at the cart. And if she didn't have like a shield right in front, you know, of her face, it would have probably just went straight, hit her right in the head.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh man. So I totally related to Larry. It's just, yeah, if it's ever a question, even if you know you're terrible, or especially if you're terrible, never, never.
If you can see people in front of you, do not hit the ball.
Don't hit it.
My one sister, I have 3 sisters. One of them, she actually plays a lot of golf. Her and her girlfriends go quite often in the summer. And I actually, because we're both left-handed, so I gave her my old set of clubs. And she got hit in the face with a golf club.
Oh man.
Her and her girlfriend were at the driving range, and her girlfriend obviously wasn't as familiar with. When I say girlfriend, I don't mean like romantic partner.
Yeah.
Friend's girl. Obviously is not as familiar with golf etiquette and didn't look. And now, granted, Hannah did not need to be standing that close either. So
yeah,
takes 2 to tango, kids. But that golf club came up, whacked her right in the face. She go to the emergency room, you know. And I remember texting her going, "I'm so glad you didn't lose any teeth." Because that would have been, you know, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, like with golf, my friends would always say this: like, I'm either horrible, like really bad, or I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I would have days where I go out there and like do good, like win, you know.
Yeah.
And then there's other days I'd go out and it was just like last place, like by far.
Yeah.
You know, so I never really had any consistency either way, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's kind of my, yeah.
We should go golfing sometime.
Yeah, right.
Golfing. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
All right. So a lot of the conversations I want to have about this episode, let's backtrack a little bit. So obviously in the last episode, we all know one of the themes of the episode was Susie's birthday. So Ted and Cheryl, his ex-wife, and Ted Danson, who I love, Ted Danson, they come over and they give Susie a dog for her birthday. And, you know, that's a weird present to put in a box.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they had to open it right away, so it just one upped all the other gifts. Like nothing else even matters at that point.
I've been to those kind of parties, and it's just like, you know, that $20 bill I got on that card obviously is just totally worthless at this point, you know. So that's interesting. They named the dog Frankie off after Frank Sinatra, apparently, which that reference in 2024. This is very boomer culture.
Yeah,
very boomer culture. And all this being said, so I bring all this up because after the whole thing with Tony happens, they're out on the golf course and they hear this coyote eating a dog. Or that's at least what it sounds like. It's what's presented to us. So my question for you, Juice. Go find out if your dog's still alive or finish the golf game.
I think it would depend on like a situation. If I'm in golf mid game doing well, man, I would if you know it's dead. That's kind of the thing. It's like,
what are you gonna do?
Dead, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? So, yeah, I mean, at that point, if I like was extremely because they just got the dog. That's another thing. But
there's
also,
no real attachment.
There's no attachment to it. Like I could see like if it was a dog I ate, you know, or like a dog you're actually very connected to, that unknown of like, is it alive? Is it not? My whole world's gonna end if it is. But that's clearly not the case with this new dog. So it's like, well, we're here. We may as well play through.
So here's my thing. Okay. I would just keep golfing. If I got a text saying our dog is dead or a call saying our dog is dead, here's the deal. If we're playing 18 holes or if we're playing 9, if we're more than 70% of the way through the game, I'm just going to, oh, my phone was in the cup holder.
Yeah, just finish up. Yeah.
I'm going to finish my fucking golf game and then we'll go deal with the situation. Even if it is like a child. You know, I know people because I'm not a dog person.
Yeah, me either.
I've known people that, you know, their dog is in their twilight years, you know, and it's always sad when they got to put their dogs down. But it's like, if I was out golfing 75% of the way through the game and somebody texted me saying that their dog finally died or whatever, it's like, I'll get back to you when I get back to you. I'm going to finish the golf game. And I love how like later in the episode when they went home and Susie just freaked out on him. Fuck you, Larry, you know, fucking asshole. I mean, there's some truth to it. I mean, Larry was even like, yeah, even if the human died.
Even if Jeff.
Even if it was, yeah. And he makes the comment, he goes, well, it depends how I'm doing in the game.
Yeah.
If it's a person, I think it's a different story.
Yeah,
it's a very different story. But dogs, though, so obviously we're both Christians, so you know this as well as I do. I just get in a lot of trouble when I say it. Dogs don't have souls, so it's not like they go to heaven or hell. Now, try saying that in front of a dog person,
right?
Even if they are a Christian, and you will receive a lecture or two. And I've gotten I've gotten a lot of lectures in my life about how I can be a prick or an asshole when it comes to those things. And it's like, again, oh, look at the cute puppy. Look at the cute puppy. Good. But it's like, okay, it's not a human. It's a dog. All animals they're called animals. That's why, you know, humans, we're separated from the animals. We're not in the same category as the canines and the cats and the goldfish. We are humans. Do you have any thoughts on any of that?
Not too much. Yeah. I would really like to not be a dog owner. Yeah, it just seems like so much.
I like being a dog uncle.
So much work.
It's
Yeah,
the same thing
uncle's
with real
was good.
children. I like being
Yeah.
an uncle. I don't
Yeah.
want. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Play with it.
no.
But
Some of my best friends, they just had another kid just a couple months ago, and I go over there once a week or every other week to visit, and they like it because it's like a relief because they don't ever get to go anywhere. So it's like, oh, Rob's coming to
Yeah.
us. This is
Yeah.
great. And
Yeah.
I love it too. They're some of my best friends. But I just see the decay and they're slowly dying and, pulling their hair out and you've got screaming babies. And I'm just like, nope. Like, this was fun playing with your kids for a couple. Man, I had a blast. This was great. Got to hold the baby and maybe feed it a little bit. And I've told them on more than one occasion. So if they're watching the show, they know I'm serious. I'm totally down to learn how to change a diaper. I'm down because, it'd be great. In a year or so, like they can go out for a night, have Uncle Rob watch the kids. And you'd have to know how to change a diaper in order to do that for a couple hours. I'm totally down for that business. But I don't want children. And I'm not really a pets guy. Like, I've thought about getting a fish before. And I'm like, yeah, but what if I go out of town for a couple of days? I'm just going to come home to a dead fish.
right. Yeah.
You know?
I thought about a fish too.
Yeah. So where are you at on pets? Because I know you're a little younger than me. So, like, maybe children's not as, in the immediate future for you.
Right. I could see. I would want, like, if I had, actually had, kids and stuff. I would want a few fun pets, but nothing that's like, not something that's running around the house level. So like, some reptiles, maybe like a chinchilla or like some hamsters, some stuff like you can kind of play with. You can maybe like build it some fun little toys or little forts and stuff to have it run around. But something that's, it's going to die in a few years. So like you get, you're not getting too attached to it. It's a pretty limited thing, limited runtime.
Coming home to you, but only for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. Like, I hear like snakes and stuff. Like, you could go out of town for 10 days, just leave a couple dead mice, and the snake's fine.
Yeah.
There's no maintenance. Like a dog. Like, I'm the guy. I've been the guy for 15 years. People call when they're going out of town to house sit because they have dogs. I've done it for.
Yeah, I've done it a few times.
Gosh, I mean, at this stage of the game, like 7 or 8 different families.
Yeah.
Hold on. You talk for a second. I gotta blow my nose.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm right there with you with many times. I've dog sat. I've chicken sat. I've even had to like take care of chickens.
Dude, that's
multiple
awesome.
times.
That's
Yeah, it
awesome.
was pretty fun.
Yeah. If you can see, if you're watching this show, you can tell my allergies have been bothering me.
Yeah.
But I just see, because of that, all of the headaches. Like, oh, we're gonna go out of town for 3 or 4 days. Well, who's gonna watch our dog? And it's
Right.
like, that just sounds, even just to go away for a weekend a couple times a year, that just sounds like misery.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had like coworkers and stuff that are like, I can't work a certain shift past this point because I can't leave my dog alone for this long. And I'm like, really? Like, we already have the people with kids that are like, don't have a babysitter, whatever excuse. Like, you do have pets too.
You know what I say to all that shit? What about for us that we're smart enough to not have pets or children? Why should we have to suffer so you can go home and let your dog out? I was smarter than you because I didn't buy a dog. I feel that there should be some sort of an award or prize or promotion for that,
Yeah.
for those choices. We made better. I made better choices than you. So no, you know what? I would like to go home early because I want to watch a movie.
Right.
Again, the older I get, the more I am like, I know I am Larry David.
Yeah, the more
To an
you,
extent, this character, this version of him. What do you want to bring up next from the episode?
Yeah, them bringing like the sign language into it has been that's probably one of those things you could predict just with how like pop culture it is, or how popular it is for different shows and events to have signers.
Right. And I feel that's definitely a newer thing. And I'm really glad that they do that now.
Or wait, didn't they do that? Oh wait, they already did hit on that because there was the one at a wedding.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Gosh, I haven't seen that episode in a
That
long
was
time.
in the Lin. Yeah, that was like one of the Lin-Manuel Miranda episodes.
That's two seasons ago, I think.
Yeah.
Larry's in the bathroom. Golf instructor's in there again. Now, again, I understand. Like, I understand, but I don't understand the first time. But the second one was unwarranted. He was in the bathroom first.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of call bullshit on it.
Yeah,
They're out to get Larry. They're out to get.
Oh
Larry.
yeah, they are. Yeah, his eyes are poking through the. So funny.
There, you in there? And then you know, it all. So I want to talk about the fucking here, that storyline here in a second. But to kind of round out this whole thing, Larry gets out of it at the end because he does the balls bit.
Yeah, yeah.
He got out of getting in trouble, which he always seems to find a way to get out of being in trouble.
Right.
So this is definitely one of the big things I wanted to touch on for this show here tonight. Vince Vaughn's character, he's one of the Funkhausers.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Marty Funkhauser.
Yeah.
And he's banging the neighbor's wife for fertility situation to impregnate this person because they feel sperm donor, there's not enough connectiveness, so they feel like the child will be smarter if they actually fuck. Which that's interesting. You can totally tell Vince Vaughn just improv that shit, which most of the show is improv. And I love how Larry has to then like figure out how to edit it all together. But I just love the fact that she's like, "Oh yeah, Leon," you know, and then they're banging it out at the end. What are your thoughts on this whole thing? Well,
I thought they were gonna go the I thought they were gonna go. I'd take a racist turn. That was my prediction for when he like sent the video of Leon. But I guess that's probably pretty overdone at this point. So,
that's honestly, I was thinking the same thing you were, because my first thought. So when they're all sitting having lunch, and he's like, "I want to text her right now," and then he films the video of Leon saying like all the stuff that Leon would normally say. My thought is she's going to text him back and be like, they do like the racial thing.
Yeah. Right.
And then the story becomes, does Vince Vaughn's character continue to fuck her knowing that she's a racist?
What I thought.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought they were going.
Yeah. But it wouldn't make any sense. LA,
No,
in LA. Yeah. In 2024 in LA. Yeah.
But good for Mr. Funkhauser. And good for Leon. Good for Leon Black. I love. By the way, I love when they meet her and she says, "My name's Lydia," and he goes, "Oh, I love those one-syllable names."
Yeah. Yeah, and Larry has to grab him aside and say, anything that you say is like only gonna make this more likely to not happen.
Yes. Are there any other points you want to bring up from the show?
Oh, there is like the little bit of because he hits
the bagel.
He hits the bagel, yeah, because he has that initial which I don't know. So yeah, when he's initially in the car, he's trying to give the bagel to the guy. As he starts to approach, he freaks out.
It's the
Like, wait,
germaphobe.
what did he? Yeah, what?
He goes, no, don't come any further.
What did he? How
He
was
just throws him the
expecting that to
bagel.
go?
And the guy's like, all right, thanks, man. You know. And then he does it again and he hits Tony.
Yeah.
I think I like this season so far. There hasn't been like the episode yet. Like there's usually one episode every season that's like, oh, like you're just,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't feel we're there yet. We're only 3 episodes into the season. There's 10 total, I believe. So I'm pretty optimistic. I'm really enjoying this final season. I think it really goes to show. Again, I'm not going to speak and like make digs at any previous comedy shows. For as great as The Office was, I think the last few seasons there were some episodes where they were drowning more than they were swimming, and that show was huge. I don't think Parks and Rec, I think they knew when to end it like perfectly. Same with like 30 Rock, and there's all sorts of other, great comedy shows that have been out over the years. But I feel like this show, it's still fresh enough that once it's over, it's not like 5 years from now, people are going to be like, yeah, don't bother with the last few seasons. They weren't as good.
Right.
Because people say that about comedy shows all the time.
Yeah, if anything, granted, I haven't seen all of like the first half of Curb, but like season 10, 11, 12, I watched season 9, 10, and 11.
Yeah.
Those are all, especially 10 and 11, were just so good. Mocha Joe and him doing the show. Like I'm in season 4 right now, and I'm not like everything that has to do with the producers.
Right.
It's fine, but like everything else where it's just Larry being Larry, there's a lot of golf stuff. That's season 2. It's just all that stuff is, and probably the best one of that is like the going to the Dodgers game and picking up the.
Oh, you got to the carpool lane episode?
Yeah, the carpool lane.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
yeah. And
when we do our best of episode, that'll be high up on my list.
Yeah.
That whole. Did you get to the Freak Book episode yet?
That probably is the one I'm on. It's probably what I'm on.
Okay.
Probably what I'll watch next.
Okay.
If it's in season 4.
That might be my favorite episode of the whole series. So, Kamikaze Bingo's up there. There's a handful of them.
Oh, you were gonna love this. I am
Yeah.
so excited to tell
What's that?
you. Assuming you haven't realized. So in episode 2 of season 4, when he first starts the producers and he meets the blind guy, or he re-meets the blind guy,
Right.
becomes friends with him again. And his blind friend invites him to a show, his piano show. And the end of the episode, that was at the Mint that we were both in.
No
when we were in
way.
LA. Yeah. The end of the episode, it's in there. So it's season 4.
I gotta go watch that.
Episode 2. Yeah. So you can clearly see, like, it definitely has been remodeled a lot, like tables and chairs and all that stuff. But once you see it, you'll know that's exactly where we were.
Oh, I can remember the layout of that place very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very well.
So
you played guitar that night.
So I actually played there technically, which is.
I wish I would have I didn't really know a lot of the people that were playing there that night. I just wish I would have like told Jake or somebody like a few months earlier, like, yo, you guys do any music gigs? Let me know. Like I'll play. Because I totally would have played that night. I would have played my own stuff.
Yeah.
That evening. But like I didn't, there was like a Meatloaf cover band that night.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun watching them because I love Meatloaf.
And did you know I ran sound for like the second half?
Is that why the sound got better than
sound?
half?
Yeah. Because the sound guy was like coked out or whatever. He's just like blitzed.
Oh, I didn't know.
Guy.
So like, now it's been a while, so I guess we could talk about this. This would be a great way to kind of like run out the show.
Yeah.
So we get there. Obviously, you know my story that day. I was with a bunch of hooligans all day long.
Yeah.
And in fact, you let a few of them in the back door. And I think there was a couple people that played before the Meatloaf cover band, and it was fine, whatever. But the audio, the sound mixing, I just remember, like, I was because Helen walked up to me and she's like, "Rob, you know how to run sound. Like, you gotta, like, this does not sound well." And somebody else said something to me too, and I was just like, "It's not my business. This is not."
Yeah,
These
right.
people don't know me. They don't know my qualifications. And then, somewhere halfway through the night, I was like, because I remember saying to the other Justin, we were talking, and I was like, it's like whatever sound audio issues they were having, I'm so glad they got them fixed. It sounds so much better now. Like the vocals just sounded muddled out, like they weren't. So it was you. You're the one that fixed the mix.
I didn't run the board. I just told the high sound guy like what to do basically. So like he was like out of it. He was like putting quarters in, like, you know, sound booths got, you know, the sliders have a lot of, you know, it looks like slots. So to him, he's probably in a casino in his mind, and he's like putting quarters, trying to put quarters into the sound machine slide little slits. And I'm like, dude, like, you're playing house music while the performance is happening. And so he's like, oh, he turns it off. And then like he presses around a bunch of random buttons, like ends up turning like the singer's mic off. I'm like, dude, turn the singer's mic on. And he would do it. And then like it'd be like something be quiet. It'd be like, turn the guitar up, or like turn the piano down. So I just basically like shoot like puppeted the guy.
Well, your mixing tips were they're the same ones. They're the same ones I would have given. I probably have been like, "Can I just sit here at the board for 5 minutes and EQ everybody correctly?" I know you had to be there early. Like, didn't they run sound check?
Oh yeah, the guy was good. Like the guy was good most of the time, and then just all of a sudden, whatever he took kicked in, and he was gone. So they were pretty apologetic. They gave me like free drinks for the rest of the night just for doing that. Which I don't think was enough at all. I asked him, I was like, because I got my bill and I bought a lot of drinks for people. So my bill was like $100 or more, might even more. And so I was like, I like ran sound for you guys. Is there any, can you knock this off a few bucks or whatever? And they're like, no, wait, like, what do you want? So I was like, but
wow,
that was like the only time I've ever like done like kind of a Larry David, like, can you fix, like, come on.
Yeah.
Cause I was so like, I just like helped save the last part of this night. Cause people were frustrated. One guy, like Mark Hoyk, was supposed to do like a monologue, and this music was playing during the middle of it, so he just stormed off and left.
I remember all that now. I remember all that now. Yeah, they just had the music like it's like, what are you doing? So, by the way, I've stood on stage like because I got good about it after a while. The first thing, whenever I'd go in, for those of you that don't know, I used to play music for a living, so I would go in. There's a lot of bars and stuff. And but they would have, they had stages and whatnot. So like I'd go in and you always talk to the manager. Hey, how you doing? I'm Rob. I was booked to blah, 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 6 to 9 or 7 to 10 or whatever. And I was always really good. Like I just got good at it after a while. And I would just be like, you going to be around? Oh yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to give you a look about 2 minutes before I start to kill the music. So like, not every place, but a lot of places would have like background music and stuff. But I've had it happen, gosh, at least a dozen times over the years where I'd be on stage and it's showtime, you know. And I like to be respected. Like I know this isn't the Mint, or this isn't like a theater where like I'm demanding attention. Like I'm not that dumb. I know, you know, kind of my place at this joint, but I do want to be respected enough that it's like, okay, now we're on my time. Like This is my time. I'm going to entertain you guys. This is literally how I make money. Everybody shut the fuck up. And I've gotten on stage before and I've just stood there. And then like I'll just be looking, and then the manager or whoever's in charge will like see me and they'll know like, oh shit. And they'll go turn off the music or whatever.
Yeah.
There have been a few times where I've had to like say into the microphone, like, whoever's in charge of the background music, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just so, but like at that show, again, suburbs of Chicago, the surrounding states, okay, but we're in Los Angeles, California. How the fuck could you not be more professional?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Crazy.
We're in LA. It was a great night though.
Yeah.
Did you do what was the song that Bohemian Rhapsody? I got you soloing.
Oh,
Like
nice.
I got your solo from Bohemian Rhapsody. Was it that or Hotel California? What was the
No,
song?
Bohemian
you just played?
Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
So, well, yeah, because I think the piano player was like just trying to do filler, while it's a strong lack of. I don't want to say too
Management?
Well, no. I mean, like
director?
from the other musicians, like I felt like it was just clearly like a sound issue. None of them went and talked to the sound guy. Like I took it upon myself to do it,
Right.
but like none of them thought to like just go be like, hey, what the heck? What's going on? They just all like walked off stage, and I was like, well, that's why don't we talk to him? And then I go up there and he's putting quarters in this into the slot machine. But yeah, I think he just started playing Bohemian Rhapsody, and I was like, I know the solo to this, so I just jumped up there and played it along. And
That was great.
PLD liked it too.
Yeah, shout out to PLD, the biggest Queen fan I've ever met in my entire life.
Oh man,
incredible. Well,
yeah,
I think we did it.
Yeah,
good conversation. It's always good just hanging out talking about Curb.
Oh yeah,
try to have some structure to the show.
Yeah,
related to real life. So before we get out of here, this Wednesday we're hanging out again.
Oh yeah.
On What the Show.
Yes,
you want to let everybody know what the plans are for What the Show?
Well, yeah. So this Wednesday, you're my co-host to my right here or to my left, depending on which way you're looking. He and Delacommon, our friend Keith, is joining us on What the Show, just to talk music. Probably going to be a lot of Beatles talk in there, but just in general.
Hell yeah.
Favorite bands, songs, albums, whatever.
Have you heard the new Billy Joel song yet?
Yeah, that's really good.
All right, we're gonna lead with that. Is all four of you guys gonna be there Wednesday?
I think so.
Okay. In the meantime, maybe I'll let you guys pick, but let's try to get somewhat of a structure. Let's get a little
Sure.
more of a
Totally
structure, so we kind of know what if we're gonna prep or anything. Yeah, me and Delacommon will be on What the Show on Wednesday. That's gonna be fun. I'm excited. His government name gets thrown out periodically on these shows, so it's kind of now like a running gag. Like, how closely do you pay attention to the RFN? Because if you do, you'll know Delacommon's real first name. He doesn't really care either. It's just kind of like his thing. But yeah, so that'll be on Wednesday, and then we'll be back for episode 4. Joker and Jimmy got their show Overtly Opinionated this weekend, I believe. And next week, Characters of Culture will be back. We do the show every other week for the most part. All that jazz. And then, yeah, you can find me at Rob Fishbeck. You got anything else going on that you want to plug? Or
not right now.
Not right now. We're all busy. We're doing things on YouTube, but like we're just all busy in general. And then like we do stuff on here. So it's like, I always tell people, I'm like, you can find me, hit me up. Let's talk about music. Let's talk about movies. Let's talk about TV, blah, 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 the news. But unless I'm guesting on a show or I'm doing my own shows, like that's kind of it. Like I don't have any other content to put out, you know?
Yeah. I do have a pre-recorded Keytar video. I still need to edit it, but for February that I shot a few months ago, that's supposed to be like my February video. I got 10 days to finish that, so
hell yeah.
it probably will be plugged next week, but
All
Not
right.
yet. Not so far.
I like it. All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Season 12, Episode 3. Squeeze it easy.
Squeeze it easy.
Squeeze it easy.
And I'll have a